to first. The Braves are world champions.
Yeah. You mind if we record the interview?
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, awesome. Well, we're really glad that we could get this together, and I know it was a little early for you.
No, I was already at the bus stop twice today.
Oh, okay.
My younger daughter is 8 years old, and she's at the bus stop about 7:50, and then my older daughter just was at the bus stop for middle school.
Oh, that's wow. Great. Yeah, my oldest daughter's at UGA, and I know you play at the Bulldogs games there.
Yeah, Foley Field.
It's a lot of fun. That's awesome. She's a big baseball fan, and I don't know if she's been to any games yet this year, but I'll have to ask her about it. She's coming home today, so.
I was just there yesterday, actually, for the whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We beat Mississippi State for the series. However, they beat us yesterday 20-3.
Wow, so that's bad.
A little bit of a hiccup yesterday, but at least we won the series, you know?
Yeah. Well, more importantly, the Braves won the World Series.
Yeah. It was quite a year.
All right.
Let me
hey, Ray, Ray, do you see me on my side?
Yeah, you look good, Sean.
Okay.
Background for us, Matt. My name is Ray, and Sean and I have been friends since first grade, Sean?
Right. Kindergarten.
Kindergarten. Cool. And we've been Braves fans ever, since we can remember, growing up here in Columbus, Georgia, and, in the 80s and the Dale Murphy years, and, then through the 90s run, and obviously, the World Series this year. But Sean actually came up with the idea last during the playoff run or the World Series, maybe, Sean, and he was like, hey, let's do some kind of little Braves social media channel. And, we got a small, pretty small kind of following, and
it's a couple thousand, not to.
Yeah. So, it's just something we do as kind of a hobby. And I credit Sean for helping to lash this together. And we're not professional journalists or anything. We're just fans. And, so this is actually like our first actual interview. So forgive us if we have questions.
Yeah,
I'm an open book. So just shoot away.
We kind of want to give behind the scene perspectives of different individuals. Like, for example, when I was 17, we both grew up playing baseball. And when I was 17, I got the opportunity to catch in the Indians organization single A ball as a backup catcher.
Oh, cool.
A guy who umpired our baseball game said, hey, would you like to umpire? Would you like to be a backup catcher? And I said, sure. The only thing is I couldn't play baseball. I had to go do that. So I missed playing with my team. But that was an Indians organization, single A, and they had Pete Rose Jr. He was on the team.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And they had he was a third baseman, and they had a big sign next to his locker that said no gambling and the ordinance concerning gambling, kind of just joking around with them. And two of the guys later played for the Atlanta Braves. There was a starter named Albie Lopez, and they got him in a trade somewhere from out west. And he was like their number 2 or 3rd starter for a few years. And then they got a middle reliever named Rudy Sinez, and he pitched for about 20 years in the majors. I remember going to a Braves game, and he was pitching for the Red Sox against the Braves. And I was looking at all those fans, because whenever you got a Red Sox game, that's sold out.
Right.
And I was looking, I was like, man, there's 40,000 fans here. How many could say I caught that guy in a bullpen?
There you go. Yeah.
And so that was kind of a neat experience. But I definitely enjoyed going back to playing. That's what I really miss. I went into the Air Force after high school. So but we just want to kind of get the perspectives of different people in baseball. A lot of times you just get the perspective of the player after they hit the home run.
Right.
And we like to try to get in contact with scouts, umpires, and different things like that. Travel people, different things that interest you. You have no idea what's going on,
right.
That goes into front office and what, but Ray, whenever you want to get started as far as the recording part, we can good to go.
I already cranked it up, Sean.
All right, great. Did you want to start out your questions?
You lead in.
Okay, Matthew, we're reading a little bit about your story, and if you'd share with us your family story, how you got involved in music.
Well, my dad plays the accordion. I come from a big Polish family. I'm from Chicago. My dad plays, polka music on the accordion. So it's always been around the house. And my sister and I started organ lessons when I was about 5 or 6. I'm not too sure why not accordion lessons since he played accordion. But perhaps he saw the organ somewhere. I think he was a big fan of, and he still is, a big fan of the Lawrence Welk show. Mm-hmm. If you remember the Lawrence Welk show, right. They had organists and accordionists, and so he bought an organ for me and my sister, and we kind of just started from there. So a lot of people automatically kind of think that you start at piano and then you kind of work your way up to the organ. But I was an organist first, and then later on I added the piano to the mix.
Okay. And how did you transition from, I believe you were born in Chicago, or mm-hmm. you grew up in Chicago area? And how did you transition down to the South to Atlanta Braves? What brought you down here?
Well, first, before I came to Atlanta, I went to the University of Arizona in Tucson, mm-hmm. and they actually won last night in the tournament. Hopefully they'll carry on. That I think they won in overtime, so I'm pulling for my Wildcats.
Yeah, hopefully your bracket's got to be doing well then.
Yeah, and the girls, the women are also still in it too, but they're playing UNC tonight, so we'll see how they do.
Great.
So I was in Arizona, and my parents or my dad got a new job in Savannah.
Oh, okay.
So that brought them to Georgia, and I transferred to Georgia State and kind of followed them to Georgia because it was getting kind of expensive to go out to school out west. Mm-hmm. So I ended up getting my both my bachelor's and master's at Georgia State University. The Go Panthers.
Okay, right there in Atlanta. Yeah.
I read a National Geographic article about the first organist. I think it goes back to over 80 years ago. Is that right? Do you know a little bit of the history of behind the first organist that played at a ball game?
Yeah, I don't remember all the details, but it was at Wrigley Field. I think perhaps 1941. Mm-hmm. Does that sound right?
Right.
Wow.
So the Cubs, and actually the Cubs were my kind of hometown team. Yeah. So I was always a Cubs fan growing up, and I had gone to games as a kid, but I never really aspired to be the organist for the Cubs or anything like that. I heard them at the games, but I was more kind of, in middle school, I was more of a rocker. I was learning Led Zeppelin songs and the Doors songs on the organ. And so it didn't really occur to me really at any point that I would become a baseball organist. But yeah, I believe the Cubs were the first one. And then the White Sox kind of made it really popular with a girl named Nancy Faust. And she played actually 41 seasons for the White Sox before she retired.
Wow.
Here's a little.
So it has a good Chicago history.
Yeah. Here's a little nugget of Chicago and Columbus, Georgia history. Frank Thomas is from Columbus, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Both of my daughters, well, one of my daughters is a senior, but they both went to Columbus High School, where Frank Thomas played his high school baseball here.
And then he went to Auburn.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because I do Auburn games every year too. Usually a couple of them.
Now, how did you transition into playing for baseball? Did you play for like Georgia State's baseball team, or what was your first kind of introduction into getting into the stadium as an organist?
It was in front of 20,000 fans at Turner Field.
Oh, wow. Just jump right in.
Well, I say 20,000 because it was a spring training game. So in 2009, one of my adult students knew the audio engineer, and they asked me if I was interested. And I said, sure. It just kind of fell in my lap. So my audition, if you will, was, back then they had a couple spring training games every year at Turner Field. Right. Usually 2 of them before this season. So my first game was probably maybe not 20,000, probably maybe 10 or 15,000 people at Turner. And they just kind of wanted to see if I could follow directions. I was in the actual press box rather than the control room at Turner Field. So I had to have headphones on at all times, and I had to kind of take direction while the game was going on, and actually while I was playing. So the big thing they wanted to see is if I could kind of handle all the instructions while I was playing. And a lot of that had to do with like the timing. Like they say, Matt, you'll be out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I just have to, I had to kind of really be able to concentrate on what I was playing as well as what I was hearing from the director. And then a couple games later was, I think usually the Braves start out on the road. So I don't remember if it was a week later or, but about 50,000 people at Turner Field on 2009 was maybe my third game. So
oh, wow.
there was no warm up.
So was it were you substituting and you eased into it? Or did it become full time at that point, or?
Yeah, it was full time from the start.
Wow, that's
yeah. So they used those 2 spring training games to really just kind of test me, and see if I would, make huge blunders. And I think I did pretty well.
Sean, you might remember this, but we went to a spring training game at Turner Field against the Yankees. It was the first game when Turner Field opened. Like it was their, I mean, it wasn't a season game, but it was their first actual game. My dad took us up, me and Sean, and we went to the actual first game at Turner Field. So that was a while ago.
Yeah.
That was what, maybe 2001 or so?
Had to be over 25.
Yeah.
Almost, over 25, 20 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much liberty do you have when it comes to music? When I was, there's something I saw was pretty interesting. You mentioned how you first got your first start and how it was just like, here it is, there you go. I saw a particular individual, he was filling in for a minor league game. And I guess the fans really didn't like, and you try to play off the fans, I guess, try to get the fans into the game, keep them involved. And but I guess apparently there are certain limits. And there's a particular guy who was filling in for a minor league game. And during the break in between innings, he started playing Three Blind Mice. And the umpire heard that, the head umpire, and he turned around and threw him out of the ball game. But he kept playing Three Blind Mice because the organist wouldn't think that he'd be thrown out of the ball game. And so the umpire threw the organist out of the ball game and said, from now on, no more sound. So I thought that was pretty funny that an organist gets thrown out of the ball game for playing Three Blind Mice. But how much liberty do you have? How much you kind of like, well, that kind of close to the edge?
Well,
when it comes
that's
to
the number one rule. So
Yeah.
the number one rule is no disparaging things towards the umps.
Okay.
Wow.
So Major League Baseball has no sense of humor when it comes to that. So that was when I was first hired. I was told only nice things. Well, I don't really play towards the umps anyways, but
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas I've played for the Atlanta Gladiators before. The Gladiators are our ECHL hockey team. I think that's
Okay.
what the league is. And they actually have me play Three Blind Mice when the hockey umps come out, or refs. No, refs.
Yeah, I think refs. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, in baseball they have no sense of humor, of course, with the umps. But other than that, I'm given kind of free reign, but I usually skirt the line and then ask for forgiveness afterwards.
I remember during the World Series, you played Jose Tuva, I think you pronounce his name, and I'm a little teapot, short and stout.
Short and stout.
The announcers were talking about that, and they thought it was pretty funny.
I got a lot of hate emails and,
I imagine
tweets from Astros fans, and then before that, I was playing This Old Man for Albert Pujols for the Dodgers. And a lot of people got so mad at that. And I told them, I'm 45 years old. So I told them, theoretically, I'm older than Albert Pujols, but who knows what his real age is.
Well, then we're all about the same age there. I think we've got a couple years ahead of you.
Yeah. So I told them, I'm older than this guy. Why? If I could kind of make the joke, I think it's kind of free reign when it comes to age, and the short jokes people get really defensive about, but I thought that was pretty harmless.
Well, go ahead, Sean.
I kind of like I guess Bryce Harper. Sometimes you play the Star Wars thing, the villain guy when he comes up, and
Darth Vader.
Yeah, Darth Vader one. And so I think Ray was trying to transition into how do you do your choices and different people perhaps coming up this year. And I think Ray wanted to mention about that.
Yeah.
Well, first, when I first started, it was just kind of me and my wife looking over the rosters.
Mm-hmm.
But since I gained a whole bunch of followers on Twitter, I'm thinking about up to 25,000 now.
Oh wow.
Everyone wants me to play their own particular choices.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, these days, it's a matter of me choosing which song works the best on the organ, or which song I think will relate the best.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes people want me to play some really obscure song that was a hit in 1992 or something. And, and I have to choose songs that are more appealing to, or I try to choose songs that are more appealing to different age groups.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to play just like current hits. I want to play things that like a 60-year-old grandpa in the stands are gonna enjoy.
Yeah.
And then I want to play things that maybe a 7-year-old is going to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So I realized that on Twitter there's only a certain demographic on there.
Mm-hmm.
And
good point.
I try to cater towards a little bit of everyone's, and I realized that I won't get feedback from perhaps the over 60-year-old crowd because it may not be on Twitter, but I do get feedback from them throughout the year. They'll come up to me, like if I'm walking around Truist Park, they'll come up to me and say how much they enjoyed that song, and that would be like the first time I've ever heard that someone actually enjoyed that particular song, whatever it was. So I realized that not everyone in the stands is going to be on social media, and I try to cater towards every age range.
And then you have the classic, kind of baseball tunes that you play during the game as well.
Yeah, the main thing is to keep people clapping while the Braves are up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my job there. Like, people think that I could just play whatever I feel like when the Braves are up, but I'm kind of instructed by my bosses to keep people clapping and keep people charging and cheering and stuff like that when the Braves are up to bat. Now, when the other team is up to bat, then I get kind of more free reign to play other things. But when the Braves are up to bat, it's mostly the clapping songs that I play.
Speaking of clapping, my daughter and I went to Game 6 at the Truist Park watch party, and it was incredible.
Cool.
You were there, but
I was.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That was so incredible. Tell us a little bit about what it was like between, regular season baseball and World Series baseball, and like how surreal was that for you?
Well, it was, I think as a job, it was definitely more eyes and more, I guess, more ears on what I was doing. So I was really aware that everything I played was going to be magnified or was going to be talked about somehow on Twitter or whatever. But what I did as an organist wasn't really all that different in the game than throughout the regular season. So I still did my walk-up songs, I still did the clapping songs, but game-wise, things were a little bit more, I guess, micromanaged from our boss's standpoint of like when he wanted us to play Seven Nation Army or whatever clapping song. So he was a little bit more specific in that respect. But really, as a job, it wasn't all that different, except for the ears being out there hearing what I was doing. And then before the games, I had to be there super early for those, with all the traffic around with the World Series.
Oh, right.
I remember one of the games, I think I was there for 13 hours because I had to be there like maybe 4 or 5 hours before the game. And then after the game, I was stuck in my parking deck for at least 2.5 hours, just trying to get out of the parking deck. And then I was stuck in Circle 75 for another hour. So, so that was definitely a change. But I think job-wise, what I did was pretty similar to the regular season.
Okay.
Let's
talk. Go ahead.
I was about to say, and during the Dodgers series, I was really happy because I got to play the national anthem for one of the games.
Oh, wow.
So that was really cool. And I think that was, for me, that was probably the most nervous I was ever at a baseball game. Because during an anthem, I've played the anthem before at UGA games and stuff like that, actually at Braves game too, but during the Dodgers series, everyone was kind of in their seat at that time. So it was a packed crowd. And when everyone's completely silenced and I'm the only one playing, my heart was pounding.
Oh, wow, I bet.
And that game, there was a paratrooper that was landing.
Oh, wow.
And I was, in my headset, I was receiving instruction and if I should slow down or speed up, because we tried to line it up where I would finish the ending as he landed on the field.
Because I guess he couldn't really slow down.
No, and I think he was behind. So they were telling me to slow down. And if you heard me that game, I had to make a really long ending because I had to kind of stretch the song out. So when he landed, I was still kind of in my last note.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
So that was definitely nerve-wracking.
How was the parade? We saw you on the parade there. And how was it playing in the parade after y'all won the World Series?
The parade was cold. The parade was very cold. And I was in the back of a semi-truck. So I was holding my keyboards because it started like tipping over. So I was playing, but I was also holding the keyboard down so that it wouldn't fall over. And I had the heavy hitters behind me, and Mark Owens, on-air personality, was right next to me. But that was really cool. We're going fast.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The buses were going 90 miles an hour.
I had no control over that. I wanted them to slow down just so that my keyboard wouldn't fall off.
They're showing some video. Yeah, the first part they were kind of flying, and once they came to the stadium, they started slowing down. I was like, I said, well, hopefully they win next year, so that way they already practice on how to do a parade.
Yeah,
and they'll perfect
It's been a while since they've done a parade, so cut them some slack.
Yeah.
well, let's transition now to some players as I drink out of my Freeman.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I mean, this is actually
It's got the wrong jersey on there.
I grew up listening to
there too. But,
I grew up listening to Andy Griffin shows, stuff like that. So I think Andrew McCutcheon, I think you played the Andy Griffin show tone to that. So you have different tones like that. But Ray was going to ask you about certain players and what have you.
Obviously, as a lifelong Braves fan, Sean and I, and millions of Braves fans out there were really hoping to see Freddie back, and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Freddie's obviously an awesome player, person, family man, just outstanding human being. But can you tell us anything about, any interaction you had with Freddie that we haven't heard, or, anything behind the scenes like that?
Really? No, I don't get to interact with the current players all that much.
Okay.
There's only one, this is my 14th season coming up. And there's only one time where a player asked to meet me.
Wow.
And that was, of all people, it was Jerry Blevins. Do you remember Jerry Blevins?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he's actually kind of big on social media these days. But he said that he just wanted to meet me, and he said that in the bullpen, they're always trying to figure out what I was playing, and they're always trying to figure out the connection. So I guess in the bullpen, there's a speaker that's pretty close to where they are, so they could hear me really well.
Mm-hmm.
And he was asking me about some certain songs that I was playing. But out of, I get to see some of the former players like Glavin and Frank Core and stuff like that in the press box area. But really, I haven't interacted much with the current players.
Okay.
There are no stories there, unfortunately.
Yeah, no problem. I actually bumped into Jeff Francoeur with my daughter in Magic Kingdom in Disney World one spring.
Oh, wow.
When I saw him, it was in the middle of spring training. I was like, what are you doing here? And he told me, he said that, I think I'm done with baseball, not by choice, but, so anyhow, I'm spending the day here with my family. So I saw just over the weekend, he tweeted, and it's at Braves Organist. He tweeted that for Freddie, you're going to be playing Welcome Back, Kotter, right?
Yeah. So whenever a former Braves comes back, I definitely play Welcome Back for the first at bat.
Okay, so you've got some other in the bag.
Yeah, and then for Freeman, I could do Freebird. For Freddie, I could do the Flintstones theme for Fred Flintstone. There's a lot of things I could do with that name, but I think Welcome Back would be appropriate.
And some other former players now. I want to throw a few at you and get your or if you've been thinking about them, but Jorge Soler, some kind of moonshot song or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Fly Me to the Moon, maybe?
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Soler, it kind of similar to solar, which means the sun, right?
Right.
In Spanish. So Here Comes the Sun could work out.
Yeah. And I was thinking the moonshot, because, you'll see on social media, people are like, Soler's home run just, went out of the Milky Way. It's
right.
What about Jock Peterson? He was obviously very fun to be on the Braves, brought a lot of personality, a lot of energy, really helped us in the playoffs. How Jock Peterson? I don't know if there's any songs about.
Well, there's an old Glenn Miller song which will go over most people's heads, but there's an old Glenn Miller song called String of Pearls. There's also a ZZ Top song called Pearl Necklace.
Okay, there you go.
But I don't think that's about an actual necklace. I'll leave it at that. I used to play a song by Young Jock. When Jock was with the Dodgers. I want to say it was Going Down. And then Peterson, I could also go with the Cheers theme for Norm Peterson. The Norm on Cheers was Norm Peterson. So there's a lot I could go there.
One thing, we want to talk about your book, but right before we get ready to conclude. But one thing I want to ask you, as far as one of the things to get fans really pumped up, is the wave. Is there any way generating that, or is that just something that it just naturally happens? Like, do you play good vibrations and then maybe they do something on the board about fans, about a wave?
Well, a lot of people actually don't like the wave. Do you guys like it?
Love it.
I've heard people complain about it, but I don't generally. I get up half the time, honestly.
A lot of people think that people doing the wave kind of takes them away from watching what's on the field.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I kind of like it. I'm kind of. I think sometimes people do the waves at a bad time. But sometimes I'll play Catch a Wave as they're doing it. There's a Beach Boys song called Catch a Wave. But really, no, there's not really a song that I try to do to instigate a wave.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me throw a couple more players at you. You mentioned you're a Cubs fan. They made a big signing, Seiya Suzuki, coming over from Japan. I don't know if you saw, but he picked Mike Trout's number, and they asked him why number 27, and he said his response was Mike Trout, I love you. So
oh wow,
anything and then the Angels are coming this summer, which I'm really excited. So what are your thoughts on song choice, or any ideas on Suzuki, Mike Trout, and Shohei Ohtani?
Oh, Suzuki, that might be a hard one, because we had who was our pitcher a couple years ago? Suzuki.
Oh,
I'd have to think about that. What was his first name again?
Seiya Suzuki. So there's probably a ton,
Seiya?
Say me. Yeah.
Say you, say me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that one.
Okay. What's that song? Say you, say me. What's that one?
That's Lionel Richie, isn't it?
Yeah, Lionel Richie. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
there you go.
That would be. I think that would reach a lot of people.
You guys will have to tweet me about that one when they come into town.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So
and then Mike Trout. Trout would be easy because all the like Fishing in the Dark, or Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That would be
so
awesome.
any type of Fish song, actually Fish, any song from the band Fish.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'd go with The Little Mermaid. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be perfect. I mean, every age group, and I think they're re-releasing. They're doing a live action Little Mermaids coming out soon.
I think most people know this song Under the Sea.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Sure. And then finally, Shohei.
Oh yeah, Shohei Ohtani. Something with show.
Yeah, definitely.
Like Show Me the Way. Is there a song called Show Me the Way?
The thing that pops into my head is Jerry Maguire, Show Me the Money, but I don't think that's a song.
Yeah.
Does your wife help you? Does your wife help you sometimes still?
Yeah, she does. Before I post it out to Twitter, usually she's going to chime in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But Shohei, yeah, something with show. I think, isn't there like The Show Must Go On, or maybe a Queen song called The Show Must Go On?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or Ohtani. Let's see.
Ohtani.
The theme song. How about that?
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly. We'll give you time to work on it. How about that?
Yeah.
Well, just to Sean mentioned earlier, but we saw that you have the new vinyl album out, LA Connect.
Yeah.
You want to give the fans some info about that, and what went into it, and where they can pick it up?
Yeah, so right before the pandemic, I was in Los Angeles. No connection to Freddie there, but I was in Los Angeles, actually at a music convention. It's called the National Association of Music Merchants, the NAM convention. And while I was there, a buddy of mine plays guitar, a guy named Bruce Foreman. And we said, we should just record an album together. And then we got one of the top jazz drummers really in the world, a guy named Jeff Hamilton, to play on the session for us. And then the pandemic hit about 2 months later. So this was January of 2020, and then the pandemic hit. So I kind of sat on it for a while. Like I didn't know, I don't know how my finances would be, and I don't know if I would ever even release it. But as things kind of normalized a little bit, I decided, I should just do an album, like a LP vinyl, because I'm a huge LP guy. I have about maybe 3,000 records here at the house.
Wow.
So I cut. There's only 200 of them that I cut because I don't know if you ever looked into it, but cutting records is pretty pricey, and these days, I guess there's so much demand for it that it takes a long time. So it took a good 6 months after I ordered it just to even get them in, because a lot of people are doing vinyl these days, and there's not enough record pressing places. So yeah, it finally came out in October last year. It actually came out, I kind of timed it to the day of my 1000th Braves game. So it was supposed to come out a little bit before. I said, let me wait until my actual 1000th game. And I'm really proud of it. The artwork was done by a high school friend of mine. So, it goes to show that these long life friends really is a good thing, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like me and Sean.
I was really happy with the artwork, and it turned out great. It sounds great on vinyl. So you could go to MatthewKaminski.com and order one. I still have maybe 90 left. So order them while they're still here.
What are some of your platforms there where people can reach out to you? I think on Facebook, your Braves Organist, which we'll be sharing that on this interview there as well. But what are some of the platforms that people can reach out to you? And if you can again mention about where we could find that book. I mean, the record you mentioned.
Record. Yeah. So the record is at MatthewKaminski.com. On FaceTime, I have a Braves Organist page. So just search Braves Organist on Facebook. On Twitter, like we said, is @BravesOrganist. And I'm also on Instagram as Braves Organist as well. I haven't done TikTok yet, and I'm kind of hesitant because I feel like I'm too old for TikTok. If you're in your 40s like me, I'm 45 years old. Isn't that getting kind of creepy being on TikTok?
Maybe. I'm not on TikTok either.
Yeah. I did one for fun. My son did a school project for Star Wars, whatever lifesaver thing, and I posted it on there just for fun. I didn't have any followers, and it had like 800 views within a couple of days. Yeah, and I was like, well, that's pretty quick. It goes viral just for a little bit, then kind of shuts down if you don't have a big following.
You know, I still have a lot of my videos from the World Series, so maybe I should just kind of quietly make a TikTok video and see if anyone responds.
There you go. So. Well, Matt, it was a pleasure having you, and we thank you for everything, sharing behind the scenes and your family background and all these things that people know nothing about, you know, with you playing. And we look forward to trying to guessing those songs as you play this year for the Atlanta Braves, going on number 13 or 14?
14 year
this
already.
Year.
Yeah.
And over 1,000 games, and you've never been ejected out of a game, so that's good. So we don't have to worry about you breaking Bobby Cox's record. And but on my side, on my behalf, it's a pleasure to have you with us, and I'm sure the fans will definitely enjoy listening to your perspective. I look forward to this year you playing throughout the season. And how about yourself, Ray? Would you like to conclude?
Yeah, no, really appreciate it, Matthew. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, we look forward to hearing the songs that you play and trying to figure them out, you know, when we hear them. And we really appreciate your time. It's really great. And just wanted to ask, would it be okay for us to put this online or put some snippets of this online? Would that be okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. And if you guys are at Truist Park, just hit me up and we'll meet outside the press box area.
Man, that'd be awesome.
That'd be cool.
That'd be real cool.
You guys have tickets ready, or do you have season tickets?
Not season. I do have tickets to a couple games this season. You know, with what happened in the off season, we kind of were like not sure if we should try to buy tickets. But now, you know, and we're excited. I mean, the additions and Jansen, it's going to be great. You know, we're really
wow.
Cool.
So and I actually live in the same neighborhood that Jeff Francoeur grew up in. So
wow, you should get Matt Olson's mom to have him come to school for, like, you know, career day.
You know what? He was actually just there about a month ago. So he was at Camp Creek. My daughter's in 3rd grade, but I think they were only doing the 5th graders with Matt Olson. But yeah, it's cool having, like, with Francoeur, we had a Parkview High School grad there, and now with Matt Olson, it's pretty cool. They have some Wilburnites.
It was so funny. I saw something, just real quick, last thing. I saw something on social media that was like, you know, are you from Atlanta? Are you a Braves fan? And Alex Anthopoulos is going to sign you to a contract.
Yeah, because who's that pitcher that was
Colin
as well?
McHugh.
Yeah,
he was a huge Braves fan and growing up. And,
so, you know, I think that's a good thing to get people who are from here that are really motivated to play for the hometown team.
Right, just like Chipper.
It's also like Soler. I think Soler said he's from Cuba, but he has a lot of family in Miami.
Yeah, true.
So a lot of these players are just wanting to go back to where you know, their homes and feel comfortable, which I get. You know, I'm from Chicago, so I understand. You know,
well, stay in Atlanta. Stay in Atlanta for a few more seasons.
Well, we're definitely here until both my daughters graduate high school. So I can promise you, my younger daughter's 8 years old, so I have 10 more years at least here in Atlanta.
Right.
Looking forward to it. Well, thank you again so much.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, I'll see you guys around Truist Park.
All right,
guys.
Bye. Thank you.
You know what? The simplest thing I think I could put this. You know what, boys? You guys are going to be world champions for the rest of your life.